Hello, everyone. Habari Yako. God bless each and every one of you. So good to see you. Want to come and talk a little bit about the difference between visiting a country for a few weeks or months and living in a country. Actually, some of these things apply whether you're visiting and or staying long term. Most of us from the West being Europe or America, we're used to having systems and rules and laws in place. And maybe that's the case because we've had, in the case of America, 250 years to get it right. In most cases, most African countries, they've been having independence for maybe 50, 60 years. So it hasn't been time for them to establish their own identity as far as government systems and rules. They still basically follow the system that was left in place by the colonizers, and in most cases, even the language. But also their judicial systems, educational systems. Most of them have not really had time to evolve from what the colonial masters have left in place. And this is very relevant for several reasons, particularly as it relate to emergency services. This is one of the things that you really must be aware of if you're coming to live on the continent. I'm in Kenya, and I'm sure it's probably similar case in most African countries. Emergency services, we're very used to it in America. We dial 911. We expect to talk with an emergency dispatcher. You explain the issue based on the severity of the issue you're dealing with. A law enforcement officer or a fire department or an ambulance will be dispatched to your home, usually within less than 15 minutes. Someone will be at your door. You cannot expect that. I'll speak for Kenya. You cannot expect that here in Kenya, and probably true in most other African nations. When I asked my family, friends, and associates here, they said they may show up within 3 hours. So if you have any real emergency, dire, life-threatening situation, someone breaking in your house, you're under attack, you cannot reasonably expect a law enforcement officer to show up at your door within 15 minutes. And the criminal justice system, regardless of what you think about the American or Western system, though not perfect, you will have a response. You cannot expect the same here on the continent, particularly as far as I know here in Kenya. So the way around that is you got to have community. You have to establish relationships with people, have a close knit community who you can call upon to assist you. Or I noticed that even our personal driver, there are some people who use our personal driver as basically an ambulance service. Whenever they have a medical emergency, they call him on the phone and say, "Hey, I need to go to the hospital." So he hurries over, takes them to the hospital. Most of the things are private enterprises. So you have to have those community relationships with people. As you may have heard the saying, no person is an island unto himself, and that is particularly true if you're living in a foreign country. You don't have access to the American systems, American rule of laws, American criminal justice system, emergency services, and such. So you must be aware of these things, whether you're here temporarily, short term, or long term. Don't expect to have emergency services available to you. If you have school age children, the education system, more than likely, you're going to be praying for private international school, which the tuition varies. So you have to check online if you're expecting to bring children to be educated here. In one of the school systems, you must research international schools to see what their tuition is. Or you can homeschool. From what I understand, they have homeschooling options here. So most of the systems that you're used to from the U.S., particularly, you won't find here. That's one of the things that are lacking that I can observe that may be somewhat of a negative. Same thing goes with building, construction, any type of government service. Usually in America, you have verification when people are coming by your property. You have a building inspector coming by. They're there. They have ID cards. They'll be able to identify themselves. You have a phone number where you can call to verify if this person is legit. None of that applies here in Kenya and what I suspect most other African nations. So forget about the rule of law here. The best thing to do, as I mentioned earlier, build healthy relationships with authentic people, have a community of people. This is one of the main reasons why we establish our um, mission base here. We're establishing a guest cottage, Eden Village for guests and for locals to interact and to be there to have a support system for one another. You're really going to need this. I see so many since I've come in 2024 have come and left. They rode the wave. They were high doing YouTube videos talking about the malls, the high rise apartments, the restaurants all over Nairobi, and they didn't last long. You may have noticed some that were on YouTube and they're gone. They don't even post videos anymore because, as I mentioned in a previous video, when the honeymoon phase is over. Now you get into the reality of what life is like here. So fortunately for me, I came with a purpose, a plan, a mission in mind. That is to connect with local Kenyan people. Here, as you see, I'm in the village. We've established our mission base here in the village. We do a lot of community development, a lot of community outreach, empowerment, employment, job programs, youth activities, even ministering to those who are seniors in the community. So we have established working relationships with the local people in this village, and we support one another. Food, protection, safety, even all of our security officers here are from the village. So we all have vested interest in each other. And this is what it's going to take for you to live successfully here on the continent, particularly here in Kenya. So you must keep this in mind. I want to be sure to come on and share that because those were some things that I think people may not be aware of. Prayerfully, you will never have a situation where you have to call upon emergency services. But if you ever found yourself in a situation where you thought you would just pick up a phone and dial 911 and expect someone to come to your aid within 15 minutes or so, that's an unreasonable expectation to have. So if you have any other questions about living in Kenya that I can answer for you that you may not have thought about, moving and relocating is more than finding a place to live. It's more than finding a place to shop. It's more than finding a place to eat. You have to learn how to interact on the day-to-day average life situations. And if emergency services happen to be something that you face, make sure you have the right community around you to live in the present. All right, getting kind of windy here. My camera's moving around shaking, but hopefully this information will help you. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions about relocating here to Kenya. I'll be more than happy to share any information that I've had over my 1.5 year experience of living here in Kenya with an ordinary resident permit. So I've learned a lot. I've interacted a lot. I have established a lot of good relationships. So hopefully this will help you. God bless every one of you. Talk with you later. Kwaheri.